Hello, welcome back to the Cup Chasers podcast. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. It's been a wonderful week in the Champions League semifinals. Only one place to start, though. But let's go ahead and get 14 likes at least for the 14 Real Madrid Champions League trophies in that cabinet. We'll get that subscription on and the notification bell as well. Lewis, I got to say, this might be I heard that too. This might be
I figured you would.
the highest tactical, like the highest level game I've seen all season, as far as both teams were playing at a very high level, very good teams. Um, and one of my first thoughts was that City has not met a team that can match them position for position like that.
I agree. You know how I am. I went in with full respect for Real Madrid, and because it's Real Madrid, and it's in their house, and it absolutely looked like that. They came out and interestingly enough, I mean, it's what they do, but they let City possess the ball, or City possess the ball for much of the game. They had most possession in the game, and City had some shots. It was interesting because they looked like they missed a level of crispness or sharpness in their game, and I think you can attribute it to a couple of things. The first thing is that the moment was really big. We would be lying to ourselves as humans if we say, hey, no matter how many times we're in a big moment, that we don't have nerves. If you don't have nerves, you're not alive. And so I'm sure some of the guys had nerves. You heard the shouts about, well, De Bruyne didn't play well, or this player didn't play well, and you could say that, but at the same time,
Who said De Bruyne didn't play well?
plenty of people said they said he was
No,
below
no way.
his standard, and that the goal kind of overshadowed it. Which, I mean, it is what it is, man. At this point, I'm used to the criticism, and I'm good with that. I think Vinny has a significant shout for being, if not the best, one of the best two wingers in the world. The guy's insane,
Oh yeah,
and
Brazil's going to be mean at the next one.
electrifying. Yep.
and he loves the competition. I love that he loved the competition. He had to figure out his way around, because when he hit that wonderful goal that not sure why Diaz turned his back on it, but which caused Ederson to be unsighted, because Ederson played well as well. But it was a great strike. It took two wonder goals for the game to get open. I mean, both teams had shots on, and it was good to see City step up to it and hold the moment. It was, kind of curious about no subs, but I do understand, from being in a position of coaching, definitely on a lower level, but understanding, if you feel a rhythm with the group of guys you have, you become a little leery about removing anybody. You're willing to take the loss with the group you have, instead of changing something, and that energy changes it and could collapse everything you have. And so those guys are professionals. So I understand, some people might be disappointed you don't get a chance to play, but you're not playing for yourself. You're playing for the team, and it's one of two. And so for two, if the same thing happens, but you get the result, you go forward. The goal is about going forward. And much respect to Real Madrid. I guess we can talk about the phantom ball out of bounds thing, even though Real Madrid took possession after the ball went out of
I
bounds.
was
And
going
I
to
guess
say, you said in the chat, and I actually just watched the highlight. It's a
they had the
clear.
ball.
There's actually two extra passages of play in between.
Yeah, and so to say that was a direct thing is crazy. And so to say, well, VAR needs to look at that. Why? Well, do you just get to pick when VAR goes back to that moment? At 3 minutes and 35 seconds, this guy fouled me, so you need to get him off, even though we've had 10 minutes pass. It's the cherry picking. A couple of comments were very interesting. Rudiger was like, "Yeah, we're better than them," and I've never heard Real Madrid really talk like that. And so that's a flag for me, because if you have to talk yourself up to say you're better than someone else, that means you kind of looking at them like, oh. And then, Ancelotti getting yellow over that, which was kind of weird. And then Luka was like, yeah, we played better than them and we had more shots, even though they didn't. And it's just so their perspective kind of is they didn't expect City to come in there and get a draw. I really don't think they expected that. And so I take it fair play, but Real Madrid are the real deal. In Champions League, they are completely different than they are in the league. They're not bored in the Champions League. And so I look forward to Wednesday.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. It was telling, I thought, at the very end of the game, Madrid were diving a lot. When Vinicius got fouled on the box, he forgot to roll around and scream. Instead, he was immediately, trying to give him a card, trying to like yellow card, yellow card. And I was like, come on, guys, yellow better than that. But I think, like you say, it's a result of them being like, whoa. This is where a little bit. They're better than we thought, which is mad. Which is like, what? How? What? Come on, guys. Come on. Yeah, I get it. We're
It's a
Real
deal.
Madrid, but
Yeah.
dude, come on. Somebody had to let them know. I mean, you got to know. I'm just saying, like, it's not. It's like kind of obvious how good City is, not only this season, but I mean, it took a miracle. It took a miracle last season to get past you guys. So I'm just saying, like, that arrogance is unwarranted. Yes, against Chelsea, or not even against Chelsea. Y'all have Champions League pedigree as well. But like, if it's not Arsenal, you're not facing Arsenal at the Bernabeu. Come on, man. You got to have a little bit more respect than that. But and I think it's telling, as you say. And you made the comment before we got on about how the last time City tied 1-1 in the Champions League and didn't make any subs, the return fixture in Manchester was a bloodbath. Just throwing that out there.
An interesting stat, it is what it is. But City has played Real Madrid, I think, four or five times in the Champions League, and Madrid has never beat them in Manchester.
That's good news.
It's an interesting stat.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday.
Oh.
They've beaten City in Madrid, though.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, Chelsea guys, what are you telling me? Your boy Rudiger has an absolute fantastic game. I mean, has anyone else all season been able to shut down the Norwegian Thor?
Not like
Him and Alaba. Alaba did a great job too.
No, not like that, but that's what Rudiger was employed to do at Madrid. For the same reason Holland goes to City, Madrid picks up Rudy. They have a massive hole in their defense they need to fill with senior players leaving. A lot of leadership that's leaving the locker room in the defense. And he won everything he could with Chelsea. And he literally said, I'm on to the next chapter. I've given you everything I've got. I want to win trophies everywhere I go. And Madrid came knocking. And, like I said, I could be a born and bred Chelsea fan. If Madrid come knocking at the door, I'm going to play for the biggest team in the world. They are.
He was immense. He was fantastic.
He's immense though. But that's exactly what I'm trying to. In turn, that's what I'm getting to is Rudy was immense for us. He's a big part of the 21 Champions League that we won. He's a big part of the squad that we built. He's immense. He's a lockdown defender. He wants that battle. He thrives for that battle. Before the game, they were talking about Rudiger went to Madrid to play other players that he's never played, and this is what he thrives for because he'd never come across Holland. Holland's this prolific goal scorer, this machine, and he's never even played against him in his entire career. And here it is on one of the biggest stages in the world. He gets to line up across from him and literally hold hands with him all night. So it was immense. But I think City did a really good job noticing how locked down they were with Holland and kind of, I wouldn't say switching the gameplay because they didn't switch what they did, but they switched to the focal point and how they were going to move that ball in and out of that defense. Because it went from being Holland centric to, okay, let's obviously they tested Madrid to lock him down. They're locking him down, and then other players have to step up and provide that offensive forward motion in the box, all those plays. And, KDB steps up with his own wonder goal. Whatever Vinicius can do, KDB can do it just as well.
The ice beam.
It was, 2 ice. We had a hyper beam and an ice beam. It was amazing goals. But no, I love Rudy. Love seeing what he did. I hope he can do it again in the second leg, because it literally has to make City. Someone else has to step up, and that's what we like to see in these games, right? We don't like to see the man who's scoring 60 scores 6 in a final. Yeah, it makes for a good story, but when a defender steps up and locks him down, oh yeah, absolutely. But it goes to show, it kind of shows the roundedness of the teams themselves, which is what you want to see in between two legs.
Did you say Alaba, Patrick? You were talking about Alaba? Who else?
Yeah, Alaba was great too. I mean,
again, defensive leadership, right?
And going back to Rudiger, I mean, he was also one of those victims of us not being able to spend any money during the sanctions. Yep. Like, we couldn't even talk to him about another contract, and there was interest of him coming back from the club and from himself. But by the time we could actually talk another contract, he was out. Yep. So, but that said, I mean, it was a classic Rudiger performance. I thought. So I read something funny, and I don't know how real it is, but I kind of hope it is. But something about Holland's dad blew up in a box or something, and he was throwing food at the Real Madrid supporters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. My goodness.
But Holland only had like 21 touches, I think is what I saw.
Yeah.
Which that of course comes down to Madrid playing well defense, but also I think it shows that the City went into that game not focused on actually going to Holland directly. They didn't try to force it to him. They were trying to play it wide. Again, anybody that thinks that KDB did not play a great game, he take the goal out of it. I thought he played fantastic.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
One thing that I've noticed watching now 3 straight Champions League matches with Madrid is if you kind of sit back in a way, you take away that element that they're so good at, which is hitting you with speed, causing some confusion in the box because, okay, who's got this guy? Who's got that guy? And I think that's one reason why Madrid, even when they went up 1-0, it still felt like it was a wonder goal. It wasn't like anything that Madrid had done was like, oh my gosh, And so it's going to be interesting to see how Ancelotti changes that up. And what does Pep do? Does he sit a little bit back again so that they don't get beat on the counter or whatnot?
Well, I think it's going to be obvious what he's going to do because Militao will be back. And so Camavinga won't be deputizing, and he'll be in the middle again. Now, the goal was the very first time that Silva got beat by Camavinga, and he just carried the ball 60 yards.
I thought Camavinga played really well in that game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I can't believe they made him a left back, and he's looked fantastic doing it.
Because Militao was injured or suspended or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But I've heard he'll be back. And he'll slot back. For me, I think he'll slot back in. Alaba will shift to where Camavinga was, and he'll be freer. He'll have more freedom in the midfield. And I mean, like I say, he made that 50-yard, 60-yard run with Silva trailing behind him to lay it off to Vinny, who Vinicius is wow, man.
He's ridiculous.
It's incredible. Like, I saw a thing that said if Vinny wasn't a person, Saka might have a shout for, best winger or whatever. Yeah. But dude, he is on another level, man. This guy, like, he's fast, he's smart. The play where they literally had Rodri was literally like over his shoulder. Like, he might have been giving him a piggyback ride, and they did like 2-1-2s and got Benzema clear in the box. I was just holding my head like, oh my goodness. and it's like Madrid they're too good.
Yeah.
It's one of the only teams pretty much on the planet that I've seen that every single position is an absolute baller. No one is like nervous on the ball. They all have immaculate touches. They all back themselves to be able to I'm the best player on the team. Like every single one of them, I mean, and even Rodrigo, I think gets a little bit overshadowed because of who's on the other side. And obviously you have Benzema in the middle, who's just, the definition of a champion. And it's like, it's unbelievable, the way these three up top work together and move the ball around. And I just think that that's their X factor. You know how I talk about the best teams have an X factor, and usually it's like two or three guys. The whole team from Madrid is an X factor because any one of them could pop up with an absolute stormer, and it's like
it's fun watching those two Brazilians and Rodrigo and Vinny on the outside working their way either open or working balls into Benzema. I mean, it's almost like a dance of sorts, I guess you would say. What they put on is just incredible. Huh?
It's that Brazilian samba.
Yeah, it's a Joga Bonito.
There you go.
But I mean, it's so beautiful to watch. Even when Chelsea was playing Madrid, it was like, I mean, you couldn't be mad when they did something because you're just like, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that being said, I still think City pulls this out. I really do. I think going back to Manchester, I think they've got to feel confident. And it seems like that Madrid's got some questions right now, like how do we respond to this? Because I mean, they had chances there to potentially push this out, and they didn't do it, and now they gotta defend and make plays.
I think it's going to be a similar game.
I think so too.
Had one or two of them win for placement instead of just absolute smash power on two or three. Like, bro, I don't know how Ederson stops.
I think it's going to be an absolute magnificent game, and I don't think that Madrid are scared at all. No. Yeah, they got a little bit rattled at the end of the game because they didn't expect
frustrated.
Yeah, they just didn't expect anyone to go toe to toe with them in the Champions League, And so back in Manchester, I think City will be up for it. Obviously, the 4 fans that'll show up for the game will really create quite an environment. Those 3 fans, they know what a Champions League night is.
They sure do. They sure do. I will say this: that strike by Tchouaméni. Yeah, and that's the thing about Madrid. Who'd they take off for him?
Was it Modric? It wasn't Modric, was it?
It wasn't Modric. Was it Valverde?
It might have been Valverde, yeah.
Yeah, they take him off, and he comes in, and he hits an absolute laser.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's just – and then you see that they're in for, this wonder kid or this, wonder player, and you're like, how can they take more? Like, how?
You don't even need it.
So, Lewis.
It's depth.
What are you feeling? Last time out, you said you didn't want to make a prediction on the first leg.
Oh no, I'm predicting 2-1. I have a score for this one.
I was gonna say I think y'all will edge it because of home field advantage.
So he said it when the draw happened. We got lucky because we're the second leg at home.
Yeah. I'm gonna be 1,000% honest. If it happened the other way, I'd have all kinds of issues.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen that way. It happened exactly the way that would psychologically benefit City.
Well, it was the opposite last time.
Correct.
You went to Manchester. They got absolutely smashed. Took it to the Bernabeu and was like, "Oh no, we're just gonna pull a rabbit out of our hat."
Yeah. Yep. And the thing that's so interesting about the game is, I think a lot of these guys know this is it. Like, for example, I think one of the commentators mentioned that De Bruyne cried or had tears in his eye when he scored the goal, because like these guys know this is it, man. This is a once in a lifetime situation they're in. Manchester United, with all their history and honors, have only been like this for a treble once. Once. I don't. Has Liverpool ever won a treble? I don't think they have.
United are the only. I think United are the only team
Yeah,
in the modern era that have won a
In the
treble.
Prem.
Yeah.
it's history, man. And so you hold it there and you think about it now. Now Pep obviously has won the treble before, but I mean that was years ago, and I'm sure the weight of that is on his shoulders as well. And so you get the vibe and you understand it. Patrick said something that was really interesting, and it goes to also a second point he made when he made the point about Haaland had the ball for about 21% of the time. Haaland averages having the ball 23 for 23 touches. He never has the ball.
touches. Yeah,
He never has the ball. Ederson touches the ball more than him.
really.
And so, yeah, Ederson averages 26 touches. And
Wow.
so Holland never touches the ball at all. So in essence, even though the optics are, he got pocketed and whatever. And Rudiger, all respect to Rudiger. Rudiger did what he was supposed to do. Holland did get 3 shots on goal, same as Benzema. But the narrative will be a different narrative. And you look at that, and they played their way. And that's really, really a big deal that you played your way in a hostile environment with some questionable no calls, and you walked out with a draw, which is in essence a win, because what's the goal in football? You draw on the road, you win at home. So now you have a chance to win at home. What will it be? A big night? Yeah. I think I sent it in the chat with you guys. I'm like, imagine if that was the final, though. If that was the final, my God, like for extra time and
Next 30 minutes would have been lightning.
See, I would have wanted a golden goal in that point.
Right?
Oh, for
Yes,
sure.
yes. I wouldn't want penalties either. Yeah, I wouldn't want penalties for that.
Give me
teams
golden
should be able
goal
to
at that
vote.
point.
They
Teams should be able to vote.
how we're doing overtime.
The two managers hold up a card
Sure.
like they do in what's his name's league. Yeah, and then they get to vote golden goal, penalties,
Nice,
however you think it wants to go down.
And the